From the Whiskey 61 Lounge, it's Mississippi's only food sports show on the airwaves. We're the only World Food Championship host in the state. This is the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds.
All right, the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, is brought to you by Bank Plus. It's more than a name, it's a promise. And we have another celebrity guest in the studio, Taylor Hicks, 2006 American Idol winner, now musician, entrepreneur, restaurateur, entertainer, joining us in studio. And I love it.
It's a little Delta blues for you over here in MISSISSIPPI.
Good morning, man. How are you?
Yeah, great, doing well. I love this studio.
Thank you.
Nice and comfortable.
Thanks, man. We love it. We built it a few years ago.
Awesome.
You know, you've been all around the country and and I can't imagine how many radio hits you've done, but you know, most of them are about as big as a phone booth, Taylor. Mm-hmm. And so I had to get out of that, and we had to get a little space.
It's always good to expand.
That's right.
You know, I mean, this just kind of has like a little bit of a bar feel, and I'm sure there's some good beers over there I see in the cooler, some beers on tap. I rolled in and stole a chicken biscuit from the tin over there.
Yeah.
I was hoping I was thinking after I ate it, I was like, is there a catering gig? And after this, did I actually eat? I mean, am I supposed to be eating this? But usually when there's food around the studio, man, it's for the taking, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we got it. And shout out to Burgers, Blues, and Barbecue in Madison for dropping off those honey buttered chicken biscuits.
That's a legit chicken biscuit.
It is. It is. Well, so welcome. Excited that you're going to be here. Well, today, Batson Children's Hospital, Friends of Children's Hospital. You're going to do an awesome charity concert on August 20th at Dueling Hall. But today you're doing your whole media tour, and you'll wrap it up later today with another one of our partners, AA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves, the M Braves. You're going to throw out the ceremonial first pitch with a patient from Batson by the name of Aiden Robinson. So that's cool, too.
Yeah, looking forward to that. You know, I was thinking about this. This will be the first pitch that I've ever thrown out at a baseball game.
Really?
Because usually I'm singing the anthem.
That makes sense.
So, you know, this time around I was like, you know, I've never thrown out the first pitch, and I was like, this will be great, especially, you know, coming over here and you know, and have done a little bit of homework on Batson's Children's Hospital. You know, these hospitals, there's always a need for, you know, medical attention for these kids. And, you know, I've done a lot around the country, you know, and have gone to different hospitals and stuff and played, you know.
Sure.
So it's important. And when Richard Greenlee got me over here and asked me to, you know, we put it together. It was something that I jumped at. I'm not on tour right now, so I just decided to come over and play some music and come over here and hang out for the day.
Great cause, great mission, and they just built a new $200 million hospital, Batson did. And Friends of Children's Hospitals, the fundraising arm, they've done an amazing job. We're so glad that you're going to be a part of it. Yeah, I think you're going to be blown away today. That was a big deal for us to get a new children's hospital and so on. A lot of people stepped up. Obviously in our state. We're visiting with Taylor Hicks, 2006 American Idol winner, took that, entrepreneur, music, entertainment, restaurateur, and he joins us live in the Bank Plus studio on the Modelo guest line. So you mentioned throwing out, you know, this is your first time, because it makes sense, you singing the national anthem at different events. But you played a little baseball in high school at Hoover, right? In Birmingham.
Played basketball and football, a little bit of baseball. You know, I actually grew up in the athletic program of Hoover when it was actually, you know, expanding, and it's kind of, you always had a great football program. I mean, you know, Bob Finley over there won a good bit of championships. Obviously, not like it has in the recent, you know, 10 years, but I had a different high school head coach from junior high through all the way through high school. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th were all new coaches.
Wow.
So every year was it taught me a lot about proving yourself. You had to, a new dynamic of relationships. But yeah, we were very fortunate to grow up in that high school system because it was, it really just exploded. The whole area did.
Yeah.
So I was actually the first graduating class of the Hoover High School.
Really?
In 1995. I went to Barry in 94, which Barry was great, very nostalgic, old high school, but we went from like the outhouse to the White House in a year, and it was a little bit overwhelming, but a fun athletic program to be in as a kid, and a powerhouse over there in the state of Alabama.
Man, football in the metro area, 6A, Birmingham, it's big time last 15, 20 years.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids now, a lot of, influx of people moving there, a lot of kids moving around. And, obviously we're all from the South here, football's, it's exciting, and it's exciting for kids. And the program is, as much, the more discipline for kids, the better, and
no question.
And athletic programs, offer that. Although I don't have any kids, I would think that the more discipline, the better. If I did have children, that would be the idea.
Yes. Taylor Hicks on the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Charity concert for Friends of Children's Hospital, which obviously is a fundraising arm for Batson Children's Hospital. August 20th, Dueling Hall, ardenland.net. To get tickets, Taylor Hicks in the house. You mentioned the national anthem. Coolest place you've ever sang the national anthem. I was in Denver, Colorado, and the Colorado Rockies, I believe, were playing the Boston Red Sox, probably about 8 years ago in the World Series, 8 or 9. I was up to sing Game 5 of the national anthem at the World Series. Boston swept them. Boston sweeps them in 4. That's right. I remember that now.
We're sitting there watching, the game downtown in Denver, and I'm just thinking to myself, I just need one run, just one. I need one run. And Boston sweeps them in 4. So we just sat there, and after that, obviously that was a pretty depressed town to be in after that,
right.
But, I would think I've done a lot of national anthems. I did the NFC, I think it was an NFC championship game, and it was Minneapolis and Philadelphia Eagles. I was in the Metrodome.
Okay.
And
nice.
It was interesting because I had a Broadway matinee downtown in Minneapolis, and they asked me to do it, and I said yes. Would there be any way that I can do it, in between the matinee show and the evening show? So I only had a couple hours. They said yeah, but you don't get to sound check. And so I went from the show from the Fox Theater there in Minneapolis. I traveled, and I went under the Metrodome, and this was the old Metrodome that everybody remembers. I mean, right. A tin can, really, just an old stadium. So we went out, we pulled up into the tunnel there, and the garage door opens, and there's, there is everything. You got fans, and they just threw some monitor ears on me, and
boom.
And basically walked me out into the middle of the place, and I started singing, and my in-ear monitors start going, and I'm thinking like, oh my God, the Metrodome. Everything that they said about this place was true. Jesus, what a tin can, But I did that, and that was cool because anytime you get to sing the national anthem, it was, I take pride in that. That's probably the most nervous that I ever get is doing an anthem. I can
see that.
It's
much as you've done.
Yeah, it's I still get a little bit nervous. I like to sing it, you know, the way that the song was written and sung. I really am kind of a traditionalist when it comes to the anthem. Yeah. So, no, I've had some great opportunities to sing. Unfortunately, I'm kind of over when it comes to sweeps and anthems. But
Taylor Hicks will be here August 20th. Concert at Dooling Hall for Friends of Children's Hospital fundraising arm for Batson Hospital. He'll be going there today. He'll throw out the first pitch later this afternoon, this evening, for the AA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves, the M Braves at Trustmark Park. And Taylor joins us on the Modelo guest line. You're listening to Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone. So you grew up in Birmingham. You got to pick Crimson Tide, War Eagle. You're an Auburn fan. Where were you with the game where Bama comes up short on the field goal, and they run it back?
Well, I have to there's a disclaimer. You know, when I was on, so Paul Feinbaum, you know, my dad listens to sports radio extensively, and my dad, when I was on Idol, I wasn't supposed to do any, you know, any sort of interviews or anything. And my dad said, you know, you got to go on Paul's show. You got to go. So they set it up. Well, I actually had to sneak. I was up in the rafters of CBS studio, and I was on Paul's show, and Paul asked me, he said, are you an Alabama fan and an Auburn fan? And my reply was, Paul, when you answer that question, I'll answer that question. So I've kind of had to do a little bit of a tightrope, you know, as far as Bama Auburn. But, you know, look, I mean, I've kind of been I'm kind of a big Homer SEC guy. Yeah. You know, I don't like, you know, I want the SEC to win. You know, and it's, you know, I did go to school at Auburn, you know, pull for any SEC team. Yeah. Big fan of SEC. I mean, I'm a Bama boy, you know, I want our SEC schools to win.
Well, you and I, we're close to the same age. Yep. And so as SEC fans in the 80s, Auburn had two of the most iconic players in the history of collegiate athletics in the Southeastern Conference, in Bo Jackson and Charles Barkley. And Barkley's still one of my favorite players. But, I mean, that's what's so interesting. Bama has a lot of titles, and Auburn's obviously had a great program. But, man, they've had the iconic players when you look at Bo and Charles and Cam and Chuck Person. And, I mean, it's a long list of big-time players.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're legendary. Yeah. You know, and I, you know, I think when you look at Auburn, you know, I think that they just have legendary athletes, and I'm pretty excited about Brian Harsin. You
Coming
know,
in from Boise.
You know, I mean, everything needs a fresh pint of blood every now and then. Right. You know, and I mean, I think that this is a really good opportunity. I got to meet Brian and at the Regions charity event there in Birmingham, and got to meet his family. It was funny. He came with the Calvary. You know, he came. Yeah. Well, you know, I think I've done it so many years now. I guess I'm starting to date myself. But
and Saban plays in that event too.
Yeah, I see people that. What's fun about it is, and this is good stuff too. You know, I've been doing it since I was about 28. So I've been you know, as soon as I won Idol, I didn't realize I would be doing golfing events, which was awesome. You know, I didn't really think about that, but you know, it's great to see like the nerves, you know, on you know, people that just come in right, you know, because I had those nerves, you know, and some of these coaches and stuff that, like Brian Harsin, Kirby Smart was a great example. I've known Kirby for Coach Smart for a while now, and you know, I remember him, you know, getting the Georgia job, and then you know, one of his first real, you know, golfing outings.
Yeah, then he's the head coach. It's different.
The head coach was
DC
completely different. You know, where he gets followed around with a camera, and I remember him being like, I'm shaking him about it. You know, he gets this real nervous, you know, because it's golf. But, Brian, Coach Harsin brought his family in. They're as nice as they can be. I'm excited about, you know, we'll talk about discipline. I think that guy's going to bring some discipline in. I mean, this league is
brutal.
I mean, it's unbelievable. All of the, you know, all of the head coaches that that are in this league and that, are going, the whole league's going to be competitive.
Yeah. Yeah. Taylor Hicks, American Idol winner on the Out of Bounds show and the Modelo guest line. All right, we got to talk food. I was talking to Richard about you. We've known who you are. Food is a big part of our show. Obviously, when you're watching sports, you're eating food, drinking your beverage of choice, and so on. So you're a restaurateur, right?
I am, yep.
Walk us through how that happened.
I always tell people, in Alabama, when I travel outside the South, I said, people in the South will let you know if you could do three things. That's throw a football, cook, and sing. And if you can't do three of those, or even one of them, they'll probably say, "Son, you might want to find you a good job now." Luckily, what's funny, nobody ever really did that. They just kind of nodded when I say I came up from a real tough love kind of family, very practical. I never got told, I started to get that way when I was in my late 20s,
Right.
But, when I've been around restaurants and for years,
Right.
when I say that, we go on a music tour in the South, you also go on a food tour.
Yes.
So my family's friends had, a little hot dog shop in Birmingham called Reese's Hot Dogs. And I used to make hot dogs when I was like, 16 or 17 when I'd come home from school. And
Okay.
so I've been kind of around them, restaurants. And then, I think it was just a good side hustle for me, outside of music.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's, very similar to creating music when you have a dish that people love. And fortunately, Saul's Barbecue, for me in Alabama, we've got this dish called pork and greens, which is cheese grits, turnip greens.
Good Lord.
Pulled pork or blackened catfish or fried catfish or fried shrimp or sweet tea chicken with white and red barbecue sauce topped with onion rings.
Great.
And so our chef, Brandon Kane, came up with that. And
I'm ready to pass out.
Yeah.
It's, it's funny. People call me all the time and they say, I think we saw you in GQ magazine. I said, "Oh, really? For what?" And they said, like, "Yeah, so one of the 50 things you have to eat before you die."
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say GQ's hottest. I was ready to.
That was, and so I was thinking, it's just those kinds of things make me really happy because, we don't do any advertising. We start, my buddy Mike Wilson, bless his heart, he passed away in September. Saul, which was Sorry A. Wilson, is his nickname, and he's just he was a barbecue guy. I mean, he grew up doing it. Grew up in North Carolina, so he was able to really kind of pull the vinegar-based North, Kakalaki barbecue sauce and kind of, he kind of put it together where we're in the heart of Dixie, and the heart of Dixie kind of tastes like his barbecue sauce. Very thin, a little bit of sweet, vinegar, and a little bit of heat. So, I mean,
Nice.
It's just Saul's Barbecue is just, it's been a blast for me to build that brand.
Are you going to franchise it?
Yeah. We've got our ideas to build it. But interestingly about franchises though, I mean, you're only as good as your last operator.
Right.
And the idea is to grow it, but grow it the right way. We've got 4 stores now. We've got a new store in Leeds, Alabama, right next to the Buc-ee's.
Charles Barkley's hometown,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's where Charles is from. He's been known to peruse that place a little bit and have some drinks. But yeah, Saul's Barbecue's been a part of me. It always will be, and I'm excited to grow the brand.
Yeah, absolutely. Taylor Hicks, American Idol winner on the Out of Bounds show, will be here August 20th, Dooling Hall, for a charity concert for Friends of Children's Hospital, which is the fundraising arm for Batson Children's Hospital. Taylor's going to be all around town today. He'll go through Batson Children's Hospital, end up at the M Braves ballpark, and he will throw out the ceremonial first pitch, which, believe it or not, this is the first time he's ever done this with all the cool things he's done. And he'll do it with a patient from Batson. Aiden Robinson, which is really, really cool. So go out to the M Braves ballpark, grab you a beer and a hot dog, and have a great time tonight. We've got a couple of minutes here, Taylor. What's the next thing, the project maybe you're doing in the next 6, 12, 18 months that you're excited about?
I did a record at Zach Brown's studio up in Nashville.
I saw that. And you
for about 10
with Kev Mo?
Yeah, Kev Mo's on it, and a few other folks are that I've known over the years are going to be on it. But Zach's got a really cool studio in downtown Nashville called Southern Ground. It's this old gospel church, and finding a gospel church in downtown Nashville right now is tough. You've got all the cranes, but spent some time a little bit with Zach, and I'm looking forward to releasing a record and touring. Hadn't really put a big tour together in a long time because I've kind of been bouncing around and doing different things. But I'm excited to get back to performing on the road, and the record should come out early spring and summer.
Nice.
I kind of waited, it was either hop in with everybody else, and I feel like kind of the market's oversaturated with music because all these artists, they hadn't paid their bills. They got to go out and pay their, get the bills paid, the whole 9 yards. But there's only so many days in the week that we can actually go see live music.
Right.
So my thought process was kind of let the big wave happen and then get out on the road and
in 2022.
Yeah, and then I've got to work on the I got to put Texas and Oklahoma in the Paul Feinbaum song. So
that's right.
I don't know. I don't know how long that's going to take me. We'll see. I'm
excited about that.
Yeah, well, I am too. I think that anytime that we can watch good television, and especially
Yes.
great sports and great rivalries that I think that we'll see actually blossom.
A&M and Texas playing again.
Yeah, I mean that's
cool.
Yeah, I mean those kinds of things make for good television, and I'm a fan.
Absolutely. Blake, we've got about a minute. Do you have a question for Taylor Hicks?
No, I thought it was interesting, being a Southern guy, that you got the opportunity to do the Feinbaum show. And I was going to ask you, what was more nerve-wracking, the final for American Idol to win it, or knowing that all the Feinbaum callers would harass you for the rest of your life if you didn't nail every part of that song?
That's right.
Yeah, it's funny. The latter. I don't mind, people are. It's funny too because I've had people come up to me. Some old guy came up to me and was like, you need that song gets on my damn nerves sometimes. I said, well, usually something that's played every hour on the hour,
Right.
which I love, but it'll be interesting to see what happens, and look, Paul's obviously he's been a really good friend to me over the years, and I know that he's a big part of ESPN and the ESPN network, and
we've been on his show. He's been on ours.
Yeah,
he's a good dude.
Yeah, he's great, and I can't thank you guys enough for having me out to really take care of these kids and do that show on August 20th here in town.
Taylor Hicks in the house, American Idol winner. He'll play here August 20th at Dooling Hall for Friends of Children's Hospital in Batson. He'll throw out the first pitch at the M Braves game tonight.
I'm going to be the Pied Piper of Jackson, Mississippi.
I love it. Dooling Hall.
For the day.
August 20th. Taylor Hicks in the house. We'll be back tomorrow. Taylor, thanks so much. Richard, thanks for doing that. He'll be at the M Braves ballpark tonight. Ceremonial first